Hello, my name is Mitch and I draw Blood Force, and we're back with more Killer Instinct. This is officially Chapter 1 of Killer Instinct. This is WildC.A.T.S number 6 that we're revisiting today. But if you like the Blood Force channel, please go and check out the link in the description. That'll lead you to my Patreon. That's where all of the Blood Force stuff goes. That's where all these videos go before they get uploaded to YouTube. And that's where all of the insider stuff is. All the behind the scenes, all the Blood Force pages. So if you feel like you wouldn't mind supporting me, you could always drop a couple bucks there. I'd appreciate it. But get into the video here. So we're back just a month later. So we are officially in the land of monthly Jim Lee comics again. Isn't it wonderful? So we are here for the big crossover. This is Ripclawed versus Warblade. And this is Misery versus her own back. That looks painful. And I'm going to keep an eye out for time-saving things by Jim here. Or weird elements that he starts bringing in. Because around this time, Jim Lee starts experimenting a little bit, and it's a little odd. Jim Lee's not an experimenting kind of guy. But we got the thing going on with, I assume, Joe Chiodo coloring, because that's the only guy who colors Homage Studios these days. And it's all a little bit too light. There's like barely any black on this cover. Maybe that's the problem. Because WildC.A.T.S number 5, it had a bit more, but not much. A lot of speed lines on these covers. What about on WildC.A.T.S number 7? Well, no speed lines. A little bit more black, though, with the shadow, and it looks a bit more appropriate. Interesting. Alright, and doesn't feel like much of a cover image. It's weird, because the image guys built their reputation on covers. It feels like a lot of the time. Covers and splash pages. And yet they rarely have good covers. I would know, of course. I'm the image cover expert at this point. Any deviation? Mike Heisler on letters instead of Chris Eliopoulos. I didn't particularly notice Chris Eliopoulos' lettering anyway. Nope. Alright, so getting into it. So we're going, yeah, that makes sense, I guess. We're going back to the WildC.A.T side of things where the base is just blown up with Warblade and Misery inside of it. And they've got to head back. We've got to get out of here before Gamoran security forces arrive. So Kaizen Gamora is probably mixed up in this somehow. But, but Warblade's still, I mean, what if Warblade's still alive? There's always a chance. No, it's too risky. We lost our IF and ECM systems. Somebody's been reading Tom Clancy. I think this was around the time he got really big, actually, with like Clear and Present Danger, Hunt for Red October, all that shit. And now it doesn't matter whether or not they get out of here because they have been found by these hunter things. I think those are photocopied. I think Jim didn't feel like drawing that again. Because those lines look pretty tight. That's not how you do that. And they're shooting conventional missiles. You'd expect like lasers or something. That's a cool-ass shot. You don't see that too often where the word balloon overlaps the sound effect. Good, like... This is a great pose here for Spartan. He's foreshortening the leg and everything. Very interesting stuff. And it feels like we're losing holding lines a little bit here and there. Yeah, we are too. So maybe applying a little bit of what he's doing in Deathblow. Alright, so the Quinjet looking thing, it's not a Quinjet, starts falling apart around them. They're all, you know, whatever. Spartan saves Voodoo, because naturally. Maul will be big enough to survive regardless, I'm sure. And Warblade... Oh yeah, Warblade was in the explosion. He's fine. Zealot and Grifter just have to find a way to kind of survive, I suppose. And Void has been knocked unconscious because, of course, she has... Otherwise, I mean, she's either useless or the most powerful person in the room. Alright, cool shot. But Jim Lee loves drawing Voodoo as a damsel in distress. He just loves that shit. And you can't blame him too much, right? He's good at it. So, Spartan is going to blow up one of the... Okay, these are Vipers, not TIE Fighters, not Quinjets, nothing like that. Maul is going to grow until he's bigger than the Viper itself, and just punch it. Sure. And Zealot and Grifter are going to kind of skydive onto this last Viper here. This is all some neat looking stuff. That is worth paying attention to for swiping at some point, or riffing off of. And so they grab onto the hull of the Viper here, and Grifter has to light a smoke, because that's, I mean, you know, in 1993, that's what's cool. And so these Vipers are piloted by actual people, as far as I can tell. And, yeah, Grifter just shoots them all. That's not particularly challenging. Nice shot of Zealot. And they're going to pilot the ship, so that's how they're going to get down safely. So that's alright. That's reasonably clever, at least. Although, you know, you'd think the ship could get away from them, but whatever. That's fine. So, crash land in the snow, and we get our... Where's our count off? So, Maul is just completely massive at this point. Like these, this is Grifter here, this is Zealot. They're just tiny. Maul's the size of, you know, like a small office building. And unfortunately, at this size, his brain has simply shut down. But that's some fun stuff. He's still stealing these Whilce Portatio borders. And doing a Whilce Portatio kind of panel shape, too. Where it's weird and not really kind of going by a grid. And naturally, Voodoo's safe because Spartan saved her. And that's pretty much the whole team there. And naturally, Voodoo's a bit more hurt than everybody else, so she has difficulty using the sight to kind of reach Maul's mind. But eventually she's able to pull it off and kind of shrink him down. And then flop back and just point her boobs at the sky. So, yeah, she's exhausted, I suppose, but Void is back from being useless, so she can teleport. So she's going to teleport Voodoo back to Halo, which is Wildcats HQ, and let Emp know what's going on with the mission. Meanwhile, these guys are going to go searching through the wreckage for Warblade and whatever set him off. Like, whatever... They don't know anything about Misery at this point. So they're able to scavenge a little bit from the Viper. And they've got a long distance to kind of cross here to get back to the HQ. So luckily, they managed to scrounge some jetpacks in the Viper. And ones that fit Maul at that. That is handy. Didn't that thing kind of fall apart when it landed? Maybe. I suppose all the stuff could theoretically still be inside. So, they get back to the base, and there's Misery. And she doesn't look like she's doing too well. And Warblade's hunched over. Not doing too well himself. And we get a fun shot with Spartan and Grifter and Zealot here. I think it's the first time we've seen Zealot use a gun. No, probably not. Although, you know, like big rifle kind of thing before. And they're all going to shoot at Misery. She teleports out before they can hit her with a fun effect. I feel like I've seen this once or twice before, where she's lit from below. Her hair is all swooping up and disappearing halfway up. That's good stuff. Oh, double page spread. Boring double page spread. Nice. And yeah, I guess Spartan has had like an error, and he's just going to stand there. Point is, this is bad for Jim Lee. The fuck is this? Like, Maul's pose is terrible. Like, you know, didn't match up. Like, this midsection area, too long. This doesn't really match up right. This hand is super awkward. And even the face isn't great. Everything about Spartan here is wrong. This torso is like, I don't know, like tilted back almost, because his pecs are so flat. And the arms are super bulky. Legs are too long. That's sometimes on purpose. Zealot here feels like he's stealing a trick out of Scott Clark's book. And she looked like that before too, actually. Where her face got kind of lengthened. I mean, that looks a little bit like it, yeah. That one there too. Yeah, there. That's the one I'm thinking of. Actually, that looks almost like stretched out Mark Silvestri. And like, yeah, like her foot just kind of disappears off into nowhere. You could actually have her, like, you know, disappearing into snow if you wanted. This looks like something that 93 Brett Booth might draw. Or like, you know, like one of the other Jim Lee ripoffs. Well, we were looking for shortcuts. It's funny because, like, it feels sometimes like he's aping off some of these guys who are, you know, aping off of him in a lot of senses. So now they're going to go back to the inside the base, and Spartan's thermal imager can assimilate even the slightest residual heat patterns in the area, even after an explosion. That is quite sensitive. Okay. So they had their fight, the explosion, let's see. Warblade and Misery were at each other's throats even as the explosion was bringing the walls down around them. Part of the floor collapsed and both of them plummeted into the sub-basement. Misery recovered and went back up to look for Richtofen, and he was basically kind of annihilated there. And she got super sad. And then she turned off the sad. And then she went back up to Warblade and dragged him around by his ponytail. That's what you get for wearing that ponytail. And she was trying to access something when they arrived on the scene. Again, this is not a Jim Lee looking panel. It's like he forgot. So they're going to find out what Misery was trying to access. It's this little pod thingy here. Some kind of containment unit, stasis pod. But apparently Rifter spent a couple of months figuring out how to open one. But not that one. Because he gets super shocked. That's a fun shot, at least. And at that point they get a call from Marlowe, who's calling to let them know that Voodoo and Void are safe and sound. It's a bit of a tough panel. There's Voodoo there. She kind of melts into the background a little bit. I think that's more the colorist's fault, though. And we find out what the Gamorreans are doing. They're raising a ruckus with the UN Security Council. Some of the UN Stormwatch personnel are raising hell in downtown Zidome? Sure. I guess Stormwatch is probably around, like, issue 6 or 7 at this point itself. Like, it's as far along as WildC.A.T.S. So, yeah, maybe they're doing some shit over there. I haven't gotten that far in Stormwatch yet. And as soon as she's ready to, Void's going to go back so that she can teleport them all out of here. Oh, and he brings up Misery, and she seems like she knew Warblade. Can you shed any light on this, sir? And I'm just like, I suppose this, I guess I should have known something like this might happen. Oh, we're going to get some flashback shit? We are. Oh, back to when Emp first found Warblade, I suppose. 2 years ago in Gamora with Jules on some business. And yeah, just kind of stumbled upon Warblade, who kind of, stumbled out of the jungle and fell unconscious. So they got him back to Halo, they pulled the control chip out of his head. Okay, so yeah, he would have otherwise just been a regular member of Cyberforce. By the lore here. And so this is real-time Warblade. And wakes up in a cemetery here. And the very place where you tried to kill me, don't you remember? And she's trying to do her mind control thing. He's not going to stand for it. But she's got Ripclaw there to defend her. And Ripclaw, of course, has been having all sorts of dreams where Warblade hunts him down and tears him apart. I gotta say, Ripclaw's looked better. He looked better in when Jim was drawing him in Deathmate, to be honest. Maybe in the final issue of the Killer Instinct crossover, he'll look all right. But we get that classic Art Adams-esque, way too fine shoulder hair. Just because, in case you weren't sure that he is in fact the Wolverclaw. Nice backgrounds, though. Nice overall aesthetic, I'd say. Warblade looks good there. He looks nice and intimidating. And kind of demonic. He's got the shadow going on like he does in Ripclaw's dreams. And yeah, all this stuff is a nice little, just kind of decorative touch. He didn't half-ass it. That's good. Alright, continues in Cyberforce number 2. That's an alright looking cover. At least from here. Killer Instinct Contest. Oh, it's trivia. So what are busybodies? Busybodies are those HK killers who gave Grifter the access code to Richtofen's headquarters. I mean, this is all stuff that you can find in this issue, I think, or the one previous. What is an ECM system? Who fucking knows? I'm sure that's something Brandon Choi got out of Tom Clancy. And what is the name of the Gamoran Cemetery Island? Well, shit, we were just there, weren't we? The Isle of the Dead? Oh, that's original. Okay. And there's some Brett Booth with the character he pretty much created, Backlash, and who got quite a bit of hype. We're seeing Backlash posters everywhere. So where are we here? Oh, Prophet's out. Vanguard's out. Spawn's on fucking number 17. Team Youngblood, Max number 6. Bloodstrike number 5. Jesus. I gotta speed things up. Stormwatch is on, yeah, issue 7. For the final showdown. Man, it's amazing how fast we get to the final showdown sometimes. Yeah, and there's that Stormwatch yearbook. With that Dwayne Turner guy. Who looks like he's pretty good. I've checked out a little bit here and there. I think this is, he's not quite this good, but maybe, I think he does get there later. But, yeah, so that's it for WildC.A.T.S number 6. Yeah, there's some stuff happened with the landing in the mountains. That was this issue, remember that? And then flying, yeah, it was a lot of just kind of back to square one. I kind of wonder why issue 5 wasn't part 1. It's not like we got hints about Misery in that one. That's where Misery first appeared. You know, aside from Cyberforce number 0. I suppose, you know what, that is what Cyberforce number 1 was. That was a prelude. Not like a proper prelude. And then, like, it almost feels like it should have gone Cyberforce number 1, then WildC.A.T.S number 5, then WildC.A.T.S number 6, Cyberforce number 2. But, oh well. But that's going to do it for this one. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications. Go follow me on Twitter. More importantly, go subscribe on Patreon. That's where all of the Blood Force pages go. That's where all these videos go before they get uploaded to YouTube. That's where all of the behind-the-scenes stuff goes. So, well worth checking out. But, yeah, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.